guys, it's Ghosty. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite deaths in the Final Destination series. If you know me, you know I love Final Destination. There's some in the series that could go without, but all in all, it's a great series. I love this whole idea of death. I love Tony Todd. There's just so much I love about these films. I do eventually want to rank the series, but I'm not ready to take on that project right now. For now, I'm just going to discuss some of my favorite deaths. I'm going to start with the first film and work my way down to the fifth film, naming some of my favorites from each film. Miss Luton. When I first think of the first movie, this is the death that comes to mind. For a first time watch, it's really suspenseful. It's so slow. You're trying to find out, you're trying to watch for these signs. What is happening? What is going to kill her? Is it the fire? Is it the computer? Is it the alcohol? To me, Miss Luton's death is one of the many Final Destination deaths that is like the epitome of the Final Destination death. It's these objects coming together to kill this person. One thing after another, one step after another. Starts with the computer, and for a long time I was like, fuck modern computer, I don't want to die. And then boom, her throat. Okay, she's gonna die from like choking on her blood. Oh what, there's a fucking fire. Oh, she's gonna burn. Nope, she's gonna die by impalement. It helps that that creepy ass song is playing in the background too. Todd. There's no reason for me to love Todd as much as I love Todd, because he's not even in the movie for that long, but I'm like, Todd, baby, no. I don't know why, but I love Todd. This was like the first death in any Final Destination film, and it definitely has a nostalgia bump for me. This is our first viewing of what the fuck this movie has to offer, what the fuck this whole series has to offer. Because of that, I'm really attached to this death. On top of that, just watching this guy struggle, that's hard to watch. I think it really worked out because these are freak accidents and they're not supposed to know that them dying is connected to the flight, and they just wrote it off like, oh, he committed suicide because his brother died in the plane crash. That was like really clever of the Carter. That's how you fucking end a film. A sign smashing a guy that thinks that he is too good to fucking die. Carter is the epitome of invincible teenage boy. Right before this moment, they're in Paris and they're like living their lives, and you finally get to breathe in this film. And then all of a sudden the shit starts happening, and then boom, 5-year-old Deanna's jaw dropped when she saw that shit. Just that scene itself made this movie really scary for me when I first watched it. Tim. They picked the perfect place for this death because everybody hates the dentist. I don't hate the dentist, but I feel like it's a known fact to just hate the dentist. They had a lot of fun with this death. We're sitting here waiting like, okay, there's electricity going on. We already know that it involves a pigeon, and these pigeons keeps flying to this fucking window. The whole scene before he actually dies is really chaotic. Talk about fucking anxiety. I chuckle a little bit every single time because of the blowfish falls and he chokes. He's like sitting there and he's like practically dead, and you're like, wow, okay, but him to just suffocate because fucking toy fish fell in his throat, anticlimactic as fuck. And then the nurse comes in and she's just like, what the fuck? I get a chuckle out of that. We think he escapes death, and then out of the fuck nowhere, this fucking construction glass shit, that shit is cool as hell. Dead Meat James, I'm a big Dead Meat fan. I talk about him a lot. He covered this series on his Kill Count channel. He went over a lot of the practical effects. He talked about this death in particular. I was just like, that is fucking cool. It's another death that's really shocking and out of nowhere. And Nora, poor Nora. Nora. Speaking of Nora, that bitch's death! Resident Evil came out after this film. There's an elevator scene in the first Resident Evil. The combination of this elevator scene and the Resident Evil elevator scene, basically for a minute I was like, fuck elevators. When they first say the sign for her death is man with hooks, I remember thinking like, man with hooks. I couldn't even think of the death, but that's like what's so great about these films is like they're trying to like, how are they gonna die? And then like the way they die is so cool. It's the elevator the whole time. I just got goosebumps thinking about her. I don't want to die. Every single time I see that, I'm like, oh Nora, I'm sorry, but you about to die, bitch. That is gruesome. I didn't actually think it would decapitate her for some reason. I just thought they would stop at like, oh, it like crushed her neck and she bled to death. But no, they decapitated that shit. That, yeah, it's a good one. Aaron's death is really fucking cool. When I think of the third film, it's this one that I think of first. Mostly because I think of that sound it makes that you hear when the nails are piercing her face. In my opinion, this one is set up very similar to Miss Loughton's death, where there's just like a series of things. You're like in this hardware store. There's so many objects that could be used to kill someone. It's basically like a waiting game. Forgive me, I can't remember her relationship with the guy. I don't remember if they're dating or brother and sister, but when he died his death, because I paired them together so much, for me personally, I thought she was saved too. But his save just made her death happen quicker. I definitely have some things with nail guns now. Being someone that's involved in theater and has assisted with building sets and taking down sets, not a great thing to have a fear of nail guns. Nail guns and staple guns. I'm like, get away from me, be as far as possible, because I don't need you to fucking nail or staple my hand to my face. Ashley and Ashlyn. It gets brownie points for the song that's played before they're dead. Roller Coaster Love by the Ohio Players is a fucking great song. It's funny because they all should have died on a roller coaster. I don't really have much to say about this death other than I just like the idea of like a tanning bed burning people. It's pretty escapable at first, but then magically death made the coat rack fall over, which made the shelf fall over. Their picture implies that they're going to die with fire. It easily could have been like a house fire, building burning down, but they're just boiling in these tanning beds is way more fun. Hunt. First of all, I hate this character in every way, shape, or form. And watching him die alone was just enough for me to love this death. It hurts watching his ass get sucked in a fucking pool. We have to think, like, where did they come up with this shit? He's in the pool. Magic death makes the suction go off. Nobody else noticed that the suction is happening, but I'm not gonna get into the Final Destination movies actually making sense. Yeah, his insides are sucked out and it makes a beautiful blood fountain for people at the pool to see. We love blood, we love gore. I support this. Just watching his ass get sucked out, I enjoy that a lot. Candace. Final Destination 5 really came back with a bang, and it started with this fucking death. Candace was the first death of Final Destination 5. The anticipation game. You're waiting for this fucking nail to do something, but even still you're like, what is she going to step on it? That can't kill her. And then it turns out somebody else steps on the screw, flips, and then the whole dust. There was no safe way for her to land. Then they make the body to it. I just love that build up. Isaac. I so badly wanted his death to just be the needles. So much is involved in this. There's fire and then Buddha comes out of nowhere and smashes his fucking head. I just really love in general when these movies set up for one death and make you believe one thing and take a left turn. I think that they perfected that with this. Nothing like seeing a guy getting his head bashed by Buddha. Thanks guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch some more of my content, you can subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post future content. Follow me on Letterboxd at Ghosty, on Twitter at Ghosty, and on Instagram at Disco Llama. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.